Welcome everyone, and good morning from US and good evening in Europe and India. Well, most of us have had some type of digestive issues. Healthy digestion is the most fundamental aspect of overall wellness in Ayurveda. In our session today, we are going to focus on Ayurvedic herbs that can help for digestive issues. I'm Amita from NourishDoc, a global platform for natural and holistic therapies. Presenting this session, we have Vaidya Pooja Kiran, educated in UK and India with over 15 years of experience. She is joining us live from Boston now. Welcome, Vaidya Pooja.
Thank you very much, Amita.
Okay. Let's get started. We will start with just a brief overview of common digestion-related ailments and what the Ayurveda perspective is.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this session, this discussion on herbs for digestion. Digestion is a vast topic. Covering every aspect of it in this webinar is not possible. So today, we will outline some very common diseases such as diarrhea, constipation, acid reflux, and indigestion, and its management through Ayurvedic herbs. As you can see in this slide, I have enlisted some common digestion-related ailments. Some of the most common are constipation, diarrhea, acidity, indigestion, etc. Next slide, please. In this slide, you can see some of the common symptoms that are associated with these digestive ailments, the most common being nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, bloating or flatulence, etc. Next slide, please. So let us have a brief overview of the Ayurvedic aspects of digestion. In simple terms, Agni means fire. In the outside world, fire is responsible for cooking, burning, source of energy, and a means of transformation. The best example being plants transform solar energy into food. The same happens inside our body too. The fire inside our body cooks food, transforms food into nutrients and waste products, and produces energy. This fire is called Agni, and it represents Pitta dosha in our body as per the Ayurvedic principle and is responsible for the process of digestion. Next slide, please. Aroma. Now, simply put, aroma is a toxin formed due to incomplete digestion of food in the digestive tract. It looks and smells like rotten and putrefied food with bad odor, slimy and sticky appearance. This toxin does not get absorbed in the body and blocks the channels of digestion and leads to disease formation. This is one of the main signs that a person can feel before the disease symptoms actually appear. That's why the person feels unwell or a feeling of restlessness and uneasiness, which is not quantitatively detected by any lab or tests. Next slide, please. Ayurvedic management involves mitigating the root cause of the disease, such as ama and imbalanced dosha, by means of digestion stimulating herbs. This is done in mild vitiation. However, if the vitiation is severe, then the disease-causing factors are expelled out through the body by the means of detoxification herbs. So we would discuss in detail some of these Ayurvedic herbs that help in some of the digestion ailments.
All right, so this is the main topic for today's discussion. Let's just start with what we can do.
Sure. So let's start with the digestion ailment called diarrhea. Most people must have had diarrhea at one point in their life. In Ayurveda, diarrhea is called atisara. Passing frequent watery stools is the main characteristic feature of this disease. And some of the associated symptoms include nausea, excessive salivation, vomiting, abdominal pain, gas or bloating, flatulence, loss of appetite, fatigue, and dehydration. So let us see some of the single Ayurvedic herbs that are useful for diarrhea. The first one is kutaja. The botanical name is Holarina antidysenterica. This is known for curing diarrhea in Ayurvedic classics. The antidiarrheal activity of Kutaja root and bark decoction was studied on 3 strains of E. coli, and it was shown that it inhibits the toxin production. The bark decoction has been studied to contain around 2% alkaloids, and this is believed to be responsible for its antidiarrheal properties. And this research has been done already on E. coli bacteria. As per Ayurveda, Kutaja has bitter and astringent taste and is cold in potency, which calms down Pitta. It has drying and withholding effect, which controls the watery stools. So these properties help in controlling and treating diarrhea. The second herb is musta. The botanical name is Cyperus rotundus. This herb is described as having antidiarrheal, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory effects. It is pitta and kapha reducing, has drying and water absorbing effect, and acts as a digestive stimulant. This herb has been advised for children too, as it is slightly milder than Kutaja. The third herb that I would like to discuss here today is haritaki, which is the botanical name is Terminalia chebula. It is one of the ingredients of trifla. It digests aroma, that is the toxin, the undigested material of food, and owing to its bitter taste, it pacifies pitta. Again, this helps in controlling diarrhea. The fourth herb is pipali. The botanical name is Piper longum. It pacifies vata and stimulates the digestive fire or the Agni. So it helps in controlling the frequency of watery stools. As per Ayurveda, vata is responsible for the frequency of the stools. So this pipali helps in controlling the frequency of the watery stools. And the fifth herb that I want to discuss today is shundi, which is also known as ginger, and the botanical name is Zingiber officinal. It digests ama, that is toxin, and stimulates the function of pitta, thus helping in diarrhea. So as you can see, the 5 single herbs that I have enlisted today control the pitta, because diarrhea is the cause for diarrhea is excessive pitta function in the body, in the digestive tract. So these 5 herbs control or reduce the function effect of pitta in the body, in the digestive tract, and thus help in controlling diarrhea. I would also like to enumerate some Ayurvedic formulations seen effective in this case. The first one is Kutaja Rishtam. The second one is Musta Rishtam. These two are syrup form. They are liquid Ayurvedic formulations which have more than 10 to 12 Ayurvedic herbs in a combination. The third one is Dadimashtaka Churna, which is a powder form of herbs. These 3 Ayurvedic formulations have been seen very effective in cases of diarrhea.
So one question, Dr. Pooja, can we can we take this by ourselves, or do we have to, are they safe to take it by ourselves? These formulations that you talked about earlier for diarrhea?
They are safe. Generally, they have very small or low side effects, but it's never advised to self-medicate. These medicines need to be prescribed by an Ayurvedic Vaidya or expert, because the Ayurvedic Vaidya goes through the constitution of the person as per the clinical requirement and as per the dosha imbalances. There will be certain contraindications in some of these formulations, which the Vaidya would assess during the consultation or advice. And then it is advised for the person with some diet regulations and lifestyle regulations as well. So it's always best to take these herbs under the guidance of an Ayurvedic physician.
Okay. Let's move on to constipation.
Sure. So the second digestive ailment we will discuss now is constipation. It is also called vibandha in Ayurveda, infrequent and hard stool, which are difficult to pass and are associated with painful defecation, flatulence, abdominal discomfort, and incomplete elimination, is the characteristic feature of constipation. I'm sure most of us must have gone through constipation at least once in our lifetime, too. It's a very common condition. So let us look at some of the Ayurvedic herbs that are helpful for constipation. The first one I would like to enumerate upon is Trivrit. The botanical name is Operculina terpetum. The root, bark, and seed of this plant is used in Ayurveda for treating constipation. In Ayurvedic system, Trivrit has been incorporated as in the group of purgative herbs, supportive for a therapeutic enema, herbs eliminating toxins, and also as a colon cleanser. As per Ayurveda, it has sweet, bitter, pungent, and astringent tastes, has a strong penetrating effect, and is hot in potency. It increases Vata dosha, so it facilitates the movement of bowels and balances Pitta and Kapha dosha to help form soft stools. The second herb that we would talk for constipation is Arunda. The botanical name is Ricinus communis. Arunda is also known as castor bean. This is administered in oil form, also known as castor oil. Many people might be aware of castor oil. This can be taken orally, that is for oral intake, as well as given as enema through the rectum, usually given in Vata-dominated constipation where there is hard and dry stool, and it is associated with abdominal pain and flatulence. The third herb that I would like to discuss today is Triphala. Triphala is not a single herb. It contains 3 fruits named Amla, Haritaki, and Vibhitaki. Amla is Indian gooseberry, Haritaki is Terminalia chebula, and Vibhitaki is Terminalia bellerica. It is classified as a rasayana. Triphala is classified as a rasayana, which means it's a rejuvenator that balances all 3 doshas. It acts as a mild laxative and regulates bowel movements by stabilizing Vata and Pitta dosha. This is generally a very safe formulation, these 3 herbs, and can be taken by normal people as well, just to regulate the bowel movements, to have a proper morning bowel movement. Some of the Ayurvedic formulations seen effective in constipation are Avipatti Churna, Trivrit Avleha, and Arunda Tailam. Avipatti Churnam is a powder form of a few around 8 to 10, I think, 8 to 10 herbs. And one of the main herb in Avipatti Churnam is Trivrit, the first single herb that I just told you about, and it's in a powder form. Trivrit Avaleham is, again, the main ingredient is Trivrit, and it has some other herbs included. It's a combination of herbs, and it is in a jam form. So sometimes it's difficult for some people to take powder form, especially children. Jam forms are easy to take for children as well. And then the third one is Arunda Tailam, which is castor oil. So these 3 formulations have been seen effective in constipation.
So castor oil, how would you take castor oil? You drink?
Yes. So oil is, you have to drink oil mixed with water, warm water. You cannot have it with room temperature or cold water because the oil needs to be digested and assimilated. So based on the weight of the person or the digestive capacity of the person and strength of the person, a certain dose is prescribed. Can vary between 10 ml to up to 30 ml. And this oil is then mixed with water. Obviously, the oil will stay on top of the water. It does not get mixed, but it's easy to take because it's hard to drink just oil. So having it with warm water is the best way to take it. Empty stomach is the best way to take it. So now let's move on to the third digestion ailment, which is acid reflux. It's also called Amla Pittam in Ayurveda. This disease is characterized by heartburn, sour belches, and acid reflux into the food pipe of the stomach. The main symptoms being burning sensation in the throat and chest with nausea, loss of appetite, and indigestion. Acid reflux chronic acid reflux can actually lead to problems like gastritis, ulcers, and GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease. Ayurveda describes amlapittam or the acid reflux as the disease of extreme pitta imbalance. And thus, pitta reducing or pitta balancing herbs are prescribed along with dietary regulations. So let us look at some of the herbs that are good for acid reflux. The first one is chandana. The botanical name is Santalum album. It is called sandalwood and is known for its cooling properties. Sandalwood is bitter, sweet in taste, and cold in potency, and is excellent for reducing and calming down pitta. It especially reduces burning sensation, nullifies acidity, detoxifies blood, brings down of inflammation, and even stops bleeding. It can be used internally and externally. The second herb we would like to discuss today is Ushira. The botanical name is Vetiveria zizanioides. It is called khas grass in English. It is a coolant and yet aids in digestion by treating aroma, which is the undigested toxic material. It relieves burning sensation by pacifying pitta dosha because of its bitter and sweet taste and cold potency. And the third herb is amla, which is Emblica officinalis. It is also called Indian gooseberry. Amla balances pitta and kapha. It has sweet, bitter, astringent, sour, and pungent tastes, except salty taste. I have told this in many of my webinars and video sessions that Amla Ayurveda says there are 6 herbs, 6 tastes that the human tongue can identify, and Amla has 5 tastes of the 6, except for the salty taste. It is cool in potency and is alkaline in nature, and thus it is good for reducing stomach acidity. Let us look at some of the Ayurvedic formulations that are seen effective in acidity or acid reflux. The first one is Chandana Ushiradi Kashayam. This is a decoction form of Chandana and Ushira, the first 2 herbs that I talked about. There are some other herbs as well in this combination and is excellent for reducing hyperacidity or acid reflux. The second one is Avipatti Churna. Again, this, because it reduces pitta, it helps in reducing acidity. Trifala Churna. Trifala has many applications, and one of them is reducing pitta or acidity. So it's used as a supportive medicine along with other herbs in acid reflux. And the fourth one is Tiktaka Ghritam. Ghritam is a ghee formation. Ghee is excellent for reducing pitta. In fact, it is considered as an elixir for reducing pitta. So Tiktaka herbs means bitter herbs. There are 5 herbs that are called Tiktaka. They're all very bitter in taste, and they are processed in ghee. And this is an excellent way of reducing pitta while keeping the digestion stimulated. Because generally when we associate it pitta, if pitta is reduced, we think that digestion will come down. But Tiktaka Ghrita is a certain combination where excessive pitta comes down while the normal digestive functions are in balance. So this is an amazing formulation that is given for acid reflux.
And amla is safe. Anyone can have amla, right, on a daily basis.
Amla is generally safe. There are no contraindications as such. And amla eventually, after digestion, it becomes alkaline. So it does not cause any major problems for people who are having some gastric issues like gastritis and all. Amla can be taken.
Okay, let's move on to the indigestion.
Sure. So let's move on to indigestion. In Ayurveda, indigestion is called Agni Mandya. Agni Mandya or indigestion is considered as the root cause of all diseases. It basically means under functioning of Agni, or the digestive or weak digestive power, leading to improper or under digestion of food, creating ama toxin. Associated symptoms include loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, heaviness in abdomen, abdominal pain, bloating, flatulence, malnourishment, weight loss, headache, aversion to food, lethargy, weakness in the body, lack of enthusiasm in the mind, etc. So, as you can see, so many conditions are actually associated with just one problem, which is indigestion. Ayurveda explains this condition as Agni Mandya, with diminution of the functional part of the Pitta, or also called Jatharagni, and thus suggests herbs that improve Pitta. Let's look at some of the herbs which are helpful in indigestion. The first one is Pipali, which the botanical name is Piperlongum. It is called long pepper in English and is considered as a rasayana, which means a rejuvenator herb in Ayurveda. It has pungent and bitter taste with hot potency. So please keep in mind, Pipali is hot in potency, so it has some contraindications. And it helps to increase Pitta activity. In indigestion, Pitta is reduced. So that's why we are suggesting herbs that are hot in potency and that which increases the function of Pitta. In indigestion, kapha gets increased and ama is formed. Toxin formation or ama formation is the main pathogenesis for indigestion. And the root cause is because of hyperfunctionality of Agni. So ama is formed due to improperly digested food. These two factors act as water on fire and almost extinguish the digestive fire. Pipali reduces the kapha and digests the ama or toxin, leading to stimulation of the digestive fire and thus helps in indigestion. The second herb is maricha. The botanical name is Piper nigrum. It is called black pepper in English. It has a strong pungent taste and is hot in potency. It has penetrating power and cleanses the blocked channels of digestive tract and removes the ama toxin. It stimulates the digestive fire. It increases pitta dosha and reduces kapha dosha. So this therapeutic action helps in treating indigestion. The third herb is shunti, which is Zinzibera officinale. It is also called ginger. I already discussed how ginger helps. It stimulates the digestive fire. It stimulates the function of pitta, and it acts as a carminative. It reduces gas, flatulence. So all these features help in treating indigestion. Ginger is usually given in combination with other herbs that help in indigestion. And it's a very common ingredient in most of the Ayurvedic formulations that are given for indigestion. The fourth herb I would like to discuss today for indigestion is hingu. The botanical name is Ferula asafoetida. It is also called asafoetida in English. It has pungent taste, is penetrating in nature and hot in potency. It helps in balancing pitta and kapha dosha and increases pitta dosha. This therapeutic action actually makes it a digestive stimulant. So this again is one of the herbs that are given in combination with other herbs for indigestion. And the fifth herb I would like to discuss is ajamoda. The botanical name is Trachispermum ame. It is called bishop weed in English. It is pungent and bitter in taste and hot in potency and has a drying effect. Thus, it balances vata and kapha and increases pitta. So, as you can see, all the herbs that I have enlisted here increase pitta and reduce kapha or ama. This therapeutic action makes it a good digestive and helps reduce gas and flatulence. So the Ayurvedic formulations seen effective in indigestion are Ashtachurnam. It's a combination of 8 herbs. Most of the 5 herbs that I have enlisted here are included in Ashtachurna, including rock salt as well. because salt again increases pitta. It actually helps stimulate pitta. The second one is amritarishtam. It's a syrup form of herbs that helps in indigestion. Especially it works on amatoxin. It's even given for fever where the digestion becomes weak. Mostly when you get fever, there's loss of appetite. So amritarishtam is actually even good for that. Jeerakarishtam. Jeerakarishtam is a syrup form of herbal combination of medicines with jeera or cumin seeds as the main ingredient. It has many other herbs as well, but jeera is the main ingredient. And the fourth one is Vaishvanara Churna. Churna is a powder form of herbs, and this formulation is also very effective in treating indigestion.
All right, let's go to some home remedies that all of us can do at home with simple indigestion issues.
Sure. So just like Amita, you asked the question if these herbs can be taken, as a self-medication or not. I would personally recommend that we should not, because there are lots of parameters that an Ayurvedic expert would, look into before prescribing. But certain home remedies can be easily taken by most of the population. If children, adults, elderly people who are suffering from diseases, and even as a preventative aspect. So the first one I would like to tell about is cumin water. Cumin is a very commonly available spice in most of the Southeast Asian cuisines. Cumin is a very staple herb that is included in most of the curries. It has a bitter, astringent, and pungent taste. Actually, it has a strong aroma. So cumin, as I have enlisted in many of these herbs that herbal formulations that I told you about, cumin is a very common ingredient in these, and it's a very easy way of making cumin water. You take common jeera or cumin seeds, which are brown in color. They're small brown seeds, and there are other varieties of cumin as well, which you can add, like fennel and ajamoda or bishop seed. There are two other varieties which are called white cumin and black cumin as well. So all kind of cumin generally have a very good property of improving digestion and correcting any kind of pitta imbalance, and it has effect on controlling vata as well. So it's a very good carminative. Gas or belches or flatulence, people might not even have indigestion, but they would have gas, constant burping or constant flatulence. So people suffering from these kinds of problems can also have this cumin water. Now, how to prepare this cumin water? You take 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds and half a tablespoon of fennel seeds and quarter tablespoon of bishop seeds, and add it in 1 liter of water. 1 liter of water would be around 34 ounces of water. And then you boil these seeds in the water for around 10 minutes. The water starts boiling, it starts frothing. And then you take it off the flame, let it cool down, and strain it and keep it in a jar. And you can use this water, this cumin water, through the period of the day, sipping it once in a while, or even having it with lunch, breakfast, or your meals. It's a very good way of helping your digestive system remain healthy and help in common problems like gas, indigestion, etc. So this can be made very easily at home, and it can be given to children as well. Because it has cumin, it might have a strong aroma of cumin. In such a case, if you do not like the strong aroma, you can just decrease the amount, the quantity of the cumin seeds that I have discussed about. The next one is trikatu. Trikatu has 3 herbs. The first one is long pepper, which is pipali. It's easily available in US markets. Actually, it's available in Walmart as well. Long pepper, black pepper, and dried ginger. So these are the three ingredients in Trikatu. So usually used in a powder form, can be easily made at home as well. And because it is very pungent in taste, because of the contents of the herb, it is generally advised that you can mix it with a little bit of honey, raw honey, and lick it. That's the best way, and it's easy in that mixing it with honey is easy to administer for children as well. And you can have it in before meal as well as after meal. It helps in both ways. And the last one is chuku kapi. It's a herbal tea that includes ginger, black pepper, cumin seeds, cardamom, cloves, and jaggery. You instead of jaggery, you can use brown sugar as well. Now, all these ingredients are boiled in water, and you can use black tea as well. Some people even put coffee. People who are coffee drinkers, they can use coffee as well. Coffee powder as well, but generally caffeine is too much caffeine is not good. So if you are using coffee, then have this preparation only once in a day. But if you're making it with other teas like herbal tea like green tea or even black tea, chamomile tea, then adding these ingredients to your tea, and you can use it 2 to 3 times, but not more than 2 to 3 times. Green tea should not be taken more than 3 times in a day. So this can be also easily made at home. Just like you make any of your herbal teas over the flame, you just need to add these ingredients, and it can be used as your morning herbal tea. It stimulates digestion. If there is loss of appetite, it improves appetite. And you can use it as an after meal drink as well, just to, if you have taken heavy meal and you feel heaviness in the abdomen, taking this herbal tea after your meal will definitely help you digest that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pooja. You can, Dr. Pooja also has some, we are open for questions. I see questions coming up. And she also wants to, she has a small display of all the things that she talked about, all the different teas and different herbs. So she will show us a small demo. But if you need to reach us, I'm going to stop sharing. We have our emails and websites. I think everybody can read it. So we'll take questions now. And then Dr. Pooja can share. So let me stop share. Okay. All right. Well, so first of all, is acid reflux a Magda Agni or a Tikshna Agni disease?
Acid reflux is actually Tikshna Agni. Tikshna Agni means hyperactivity of Agni, because there is higher Pitta imbalance. So usually it is considered as a disease caused due to Tikshna Agni. There are variations in Agni. Agni can be below normal or above normal. When it is below normal, it causes hypofunction of Agni. But acid reflux, because it is a higher imbalance of Pitta, that Pitta is increased, it causes burning sensation. So it is considered to be Tikshna Agni.
Okay. We have another question on the haritaki. Is anti-diarrheal drug and also used in constipation. So how is it used for both? They're opposite, right? The diarrhea and the constipation.
Yes. Correct. So haritaki's main function is to bring the imbalanced Pitta to balance. So as I said, Agni can increase as well as decrease. So haritaki is actually an adaptogenic herb that has the property of bringing any kind of variation of Agni back to equilibrium. And it is usually given as a combination. For example, haritaki is given in combination with amulaki and vibhitaki, so which is the formulation called triphala. So these factors actually help in treating both constipation and diarrhea, because the aim of Ayurveda is to bring the imbalanced Agni back to equilibrium. So haritaki has this adaptogenic factor which balances Agni, whether it is increased Agni or decreased Agni, it brings it back to equilibrium. And that happens because of its Pitta and Kapha balancing property.
Okay, I hope we answered this question. All right. So someone is asking, and how can I treat alternating constipation and diarrhea? Someone has sometimes diarrhea, sometimes constipation. You mentioned about haritaki and triphala. Anything else?
So alternating diarrhea and constipation is actually a sign of irritable bowel syndrome. Generally, what happens is in such a condition, the Agni is sometimes hyper or sometimes hypo. So there is irregularity in the bowel movement that you see. Sometimes you would, a few days you might see diarrhea, like loose watery stool, and then suddenly it's constipation. So this happens because of irregularity of Pitta. Pitta goes high, Pitta goes low. So and the main problem is indigestion. The root cause of the problem is indigestion because of this fluctuating function of Agni. Toxin or ama gets formed, and that causes that blocks the digestive tract, the channels, and it causes all these problems. So there are lots of like some of the Ayurvedic herbs that I mentioned about, like pipali, triphala, and amla. These are all good for treating such a condition. But of course, in such a condition, we need to actually assess a few more parameters, like what's the constitution of the person, what's the diet of the person, and there will be seasonal variations when it's summer, or when the doshas are vitiated, especially during the rainy season. These conditions are more prevalent. So based on all these factors, we give a more personalized herb formulations. Sometimes the management is to just alleviate the dosha imbalance by giving herbs, or sometimes when the vitiation is too much, the toxins need to be expelled, then we do detoxification in such cases as well. So IBS is a more complicated process, and it needs some more investigation, and personalized herbs are then provided.
Yeah,
But definitely the herbs that I have enlisted would help.
Okay, we have a lot of questions coming up, so let's just move on. So someone is asking, can you please give us English names for the home remedy? Can I Google all the herbs in the formula in your slides, their English translation? Can they be found locally if you're outside India, or at least online? You know, we can email you these English names, Dr. Pooja.
Yes.
That's it will take a long time for us to go through it. That's a very valid question. So if you can send it to me, and then I can send it to everyone, because they were, you know, botanical names. I think it's hard for us to figure out what to do. Okay, so now someone is asking, what could be the best digestive herb for a Pitta, Kapha constitution, Vata constitution? Someone has all three. That's what I'm understanding.
Pitta, Kapha, and Vata constitution, like separately. Okay, so for Pitta constitution, herbs that are bitter and sweet in taste are generally the best. And one of the best formulation is triphala, because it has bitter sweet taste. If you do not have triphala, you can just have amla, which is Amalaki amblyca officinalis is the botanical name. It's called Indian gooseberry. You can use that daily. Although it tastes sour, it has alkaline. It becomes alkaline when it is digested. So it's very good for Pitta constitution. And as I said, Pitta constitution, people should take ghee, because ghee is an elixir for Pitta. Herbs processed in ghee is very good. So generally taking a little bit of in your daily diet would also help. And some of the other Pitta decreasing properties are chandana, sandalwood, ushira. These are cooling herbs that help as well. So there are in fruits and vegetables, if you eat more of bitter tasting fruits like bitter melon and all, pomegranate, these are very helpful in Pitta constitution. As far as vata constitution is concerned, you should eat food which taste sweet, sour, and salty, actually sweet, sour, and salty taste herbs such as amla. Amla is again sweet and sour in taste, and there are other eranda, which is very good for vata, which is castor. Castor bean is very good for vata constitution. So there are other vata, conditions as well, like based on what you are suffering from, we have to always identify the imbalance and your diet. Based on that, these herbs can be helpful. Tulsi or holy basil is another herb that is very good for controlling vata as well.
So maybe you can show the herbs that you have set on your table. And at that time, we have a question coming up on the ingredients of chuka kapi. So can you show us the different herbs that you have on your table, or some of the ingredients? That,
sure.
Yeah. And while you're showing the herbs, then you can also talk about the chuka kapi real quick as well. That's one of the questions.
Sure. So let me share the screen. All right. So this is the cumin water that I actually prepared this morning. It is a sunset yellow color, and it tastes like cuminy. It has a very strong aromatic flavor. And the ingredients that I used is this one, as you can see, is bishop seed. They're really tiny cumin seeds, and this herb is gives the most aromatic flavor and fragrance to the cumin water. This one is fennel. It's very commonly available, and this gives the cumin water a sweet taste. And this is the cumin seed, the brown cumin seed, which is generally used in all Asian and South Asian cuisines. It's very commonly available as well. So what I did was I took around 34 ounces of water, that is 1 liter, and I added 1 tablespoon of bishop weed, half teaspoon of fennel seed, and quarter teaspoon of jeera. And then I boiled it for around 10 minutes and took it off the flame, cooled it, and strained it, and we get this drink.
So this we can drink every day. I mean, or throughout the day. Sorry, not every day.
Throughout the day, you can drink it. You can drink it before meal, after meal. There is no restrictions as such, and you can drink it up to, like I said, 34 ounce in a day without any problems. It helps. It helps in any kind of urine problem as well, especially if you have a urinary tract infection. This is also given. And this formulation, it's actually in Ayurveda, it's called paniyam, or pani in Hindi actually means water. So this is given as a drink for patients who are admitted in Ayurvedic hospitals for panchakarma treatments and other ailments. Cumin water and many other herbal waters are generally given as a procedure. So this can be done at home, and it's very easy to make.
Sure. And then could you also repeat the ingredients of chuka kapi, I think. You mentioned that, and someone has asked this question.
Yes. Give me 1 second. So chuku kapi, the main ingredient is chuku means ginger. Actually, it means dried ginger. So if you can get dried ginger, that's the best. But if you do not have dried ginger, you can use fresh ginger as well. I would suggest the root ginger and not the ginger garlic paste or something like that. I would suggest the root ginger, and that's the main ingredient. And then along with that, let's say if you want to make 1 cup of this herbal tea, you take around a small portion, like I don't know how to give a measurement. Let's say around 1 teaspoon of worth of ginger. Grate it and put it in around 1 cup of water. and to it add black pepper. You can either use the whole black pepper or the powdered form. If you're using the powdered form, you should use only around half a teaspoon of black pepper. And then cardamom. Cardamom, again, you can use whole or powder. Very little, around a quarter teaspoon is best. Clove, um, then jaggery. Jaggery, if jaggery is not available, you can use some brown sugar. But if you do not prefer sweet taste, you can totally not add it as well. And jaggery, and yeah, these are the main things. And some people prefer black tea, or some people prefer green tea. You can also use any other herbal tea that we generally use. And some people even use coffee powder. So if you're making it with coffee powder, you should only have this tea once in a day. But if you are using green tea or black tea or any other herbal tea, you can take up to 3 times in a day. So it's the same procedure. Put all these ingredients in 1 cup of water and boil it. Just at the boiling point, you remove it off the flame, strain it, and drink it.
Okay. So just to repeat, the main ingredients are ginger, black pepper, cardamom, and a little bit of jaggery, and you can drink it with green tea, right?
Yeah, cardamom,
okay.
clove. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. Hope we answered this question. And then someone is asking, what should be the gap between the last meal of the day and the first meal of the next day?
Sorry, I didn't get.
Like evening, like difference between the dinner and the breakfast, sort of. Well, last meal of the day, I'm assuming, is dinner, and the first meal of the day is breakfast. So what should be the gap?
Ideal. Yeah, sure. So the best time to have dinner is before 8 p.m. That is because the body goes through a certain biological rhythm called the circadian rhythm. So after 8 p.m., it becomes the Pitta Kala. Like generally, the Pitta Kala is between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So if you take dinner by 8 p.m., it gives enough time for the food to get digested. And then you're not supposed to take anything from that period until 6 a.m. in the morning at least, because then it's a whole cycle of Pitta and Vata. And during this time, a lot of detoxification happens, just like in any machine. It should not be overworked. There has to be a certain resting phase. And in our body, every organ in our body goes through detoxification at certain levels, at certain times during the night. And liver detoxifies itself between 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. So during that time, so we give that break for all the organs to detoxify themselves and to cleanse their systems, and then we take the next meal. So generally, the last time of the meal is 8 p.m. and morning it can be as early as 6 a.m. But you should not take breakfast after 9 p.m. or maximum 10 p.m. because then it's 10 a.m. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is again Pitta Kala, which is when we should have our lunch.
Okay, so no brunch for us.
No brunch. Brunch is not a good idea.
Okay. All right. Another question. What causes food sensitivity? People born with it or environmental factors? People are sensitive to gluten, all kinds of things, peanut allergies. So what causes it? Is it genetic or is it genetic or is it environmental based? That's the question.
Sure. So food sensitivities are there are both factors responsible for it. Some people are born with food sensitivities because of genetic or even hereditary factors. Such cases are seen in peanut allergy or cashew nut allergy, which is very common. And it is generally related to the immune system. Now, gut or the digestive tract also has an immune system, and that is where the sensitivity starts. So if, for example, let's take a peanut allergy case. The protein in peanut acts as a mutagen, or it acts as an antigen, which the immune cells in our gut sees it as a threat, and that's why you get immediate immediate allergies or even sensitivities like gluten sensitivity or lactose intolerance. These are all related to the gut immune system. So certain cases, or most of the cases that we see, definitely have genetic or hereditary influence. But some of the cases can be acquired as well. Like throughout the childhood, the person might not have any peanut allergy or lactose intolerance, but suddenly the person starts getting sensitivities, skin rashes, and problems because of allergies. And this is because of acquired problems, acquired factors such as diet, especially taking incompatible foods, which is another big topic in Ayurveda and digestion. So incompatible foods, then improper food habits like not taking meals on regular times, just taking it as and when, and taking more quantity of food than required. So Agni gets, digestive fire gets subdued. And then lifestyle conditions like stress can cause problems, sleeplessness, like a lot of people don't sleep the 7 to 8 hours. All these are acquired factors that eventually, this doesn't happen overnight, acquired factors take a long time, but eventually it compromises the immune system in the gut, and then it causes autoimmune responses. So the acquired cases usually related to autoimmune responses and causes these problems. So it has both effects.
Okay. Any other questions before we wrap up? I know there's a question to get the English names. We will get that to you. It will take a long time. So I just want to see if there are any other questions before we wrap up. Okay, sounds like we have. So please feel free to give us the feedback of our sessions. We have educational sessions throughout the week. If someone is having any issues, like serious digestion issues, okay, there is another one. Someone's asking, thank you so much, but can you please tell about kapha in constitution? What exactly do you mean when you said kapha institution? I think it's a completely separate topic. We can bring a topic on incompatible foods and talk about the kapha constitution. Dr. Pooja?
I can generally say kapha is one of the constitutions that is where people are more, they gain weight easily, even if they eat very, gain weight easily. So those kinds of constitution are very common. But definitely, yes, if you want a more detailed discussion on constitutions, we can have another webinar where we can discuss these cases and which herbs will be helpful in different constitutions. We can do that as well.
What I would suggest is to the attendees, we can have a group workshop also, and then that could be a little bit longer than, these are intro sessions, but we are happy to, we are going to start conducting some group workshops in September. If there is more interest in the digestion related, we would have a group workshop in this topic also. Okay, group workshop, yes, that's great. Regarding the constitution, I think you mistyped it. You said competition, but I'm assuming that you meant constitution. Someone typed it up. Yes, we can do a follow-up group workshop on the constitution as well as incompatible foods. I think that's a huge topic, which is very difficult to cover now. So that's great. Now, someone is also saying, could you please put the right meal time on your note to email out? So a few things we are going to email out, Dr. Pooja, if you can send me the English names of all the herbs that you talked about in the presentation slide. And also the right meal time you talked about, in the morning, don't eat, all those things. So yeah, we will email out to all the participants. Okay, with that, I'm going to close. Any other last comments from the audience, please? Thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate if you could, share our sessions. So someone found us by Googling webinars on Ayurveda. Wow, okay, that's great. We are actually, putting our all the webinars on Eventbrite, which is a US website, and also on Facebook. So, okay, they're saying look forward to receiving the email. Thank you so much. How will I go and get notification for next webinar? The best is we are actually going to start putting all our webinars on our website. We're going to be ready in a week time, but until that happens, I would suggest go to eventbrite.com or actually go to Facebook, our page. I'll just type it up, Facebook facebook.com. That is best for now until we put it up on our website. This was an experiment we did, and people love our webinars. So for now, we are putting all our events under facebook.com/NourishDoc. Go under events and you'll see all the webinars for till end of August. We have put all, so you can enroll in any of the webinars. Any other questions? And we will be putting all the webinars on our website very soon, like in a week's time. Okay, with that, any final comments from Dr. Pooja before we wrap up?
I would like to thank every attendee for being a part of this discussion. And I would be more than happy to get your feedback on different herbs that you want to discuss about for different conditions. And I'm also providing any advice on herbs for any of the problems or health ailments that you have. We have herb packages as well, all through NourishDoc platform. So please feel free to reach out to us through NourishDoc. Thank you.
Yes, and you can reach out. I'm sending our email also. I think I had put it. People know how to reach us. So next step would be we'll be conducting a group workshop, and we will let all of you know. Dr. Pooja can conduct a more in-depth group workshop on topics like you suggested on constitution and incompatibility. Okay, so someone is saying she is a clinical nutrition and dietetics student. I want to learn more about the Ayurveda. How can I? Well, you are at the right place. You tell us the topics and we will be bringing these topics. All right. With that, I'm going to wrap up. We are almost at the hour. Thank you so much for all your comments, being so engaged. Please help us share our sessions. Please help us share the good word, beautiful word of natural therapies. I want to thank all of you for attending today on Sunday morning. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.